The Racing Postcast in association with Paddy Power. They stream all UK and Irish racing live on your mobile, tablet or PC.
They've only gone and given us some Christmas theme music. Fantastic. Welcome, one and all. 'Tis the season to be jolly, and we are very jolly here because we're looking forward to a fantastic Christmas racing programme. Joined to my left by, from the Racing Post, Dave Orton, and on the line we've got Robert Catterton from Paddy Power and a very special guest, Mr. Patrick Mullins. Hello, Patrick. Hello, one and all.
Hello.
Guys, looking forward to
Hi,
this.
boys.
So, we're all here, we're all looking forward to it, and we're looking forward most of all, I guess, we are, to the 32 Red King George VI Steeplechase. Fantastic renewal, only 5 runners, but loads of quality, if not quantity, particularly with these two Colin Tizard stablemates taking each other on, Thistlecrack and the defending champion, Q Card. Paddy, over in Ireland, Ruby Walsh, your stable jockey, Willie's stable jockey, famously delays making a decision until the last possible moment. Will it be Annie? Will it be Faheen? Will it be this? Will it be that? But he's come out and said he would rather be on Thistlecrack as opposed to Q Card in the King George. Do you agree with your stable jockey?
I don't agree. For me, watching Thistlecrack, I mean, he's obviously got a huge engine, and he might well be the most talented horse in the race. But I don't like the way he jumps. For me, he jumps too high. Ooh. He jumps too clean. He jumps like a show jumper in my book. And, you know, he's gone around there in 3 novice chases in second gear, and that's fine. Now, the small field will help, and I think that's what probably swayed Ruby. It's not going to be a big field. But for me, Q Card is the horse. I mean, his form at Vautour and Don Cossack in last year's King George is the form to beat. I mean, Thistlecrack has all the potential in the world, but the Stayers Hurdle division is a long way below the Staying Chasers division. And for me, he's got to come and prove it. Q Card's the horse I'd like to ride.
Paddy, what you said there was really interesting about his jumping. You said he at this stage he jumps too clean. Is that something that he will get better at with time, or is it something that 3 runs in you basically know whether a horse is a natural of fences or not?
No, it is something that can come with time, and particularly maybe going a stride faster. He might come down. You know, he might just have to jump quicker. Whereas in the races he's been in, he's going around there in second gear with his jaw wide open, and it's going to be very interesting. But for me, the way I've seen him jump, he doesn't jump like... why would he? He's only a novice. But he doesn't jump like Q Card or those Silviana Conti. You know, they measure those fences. They're jumping 3 inches below the top of it, whereas for me, Q Card is jumping 6 inches above the top of it. That's all I'm seeing, anyhow.
Well, those comments might well already be the highlight of this podcast in terms of insight. Dave, can you see where Paddy's coming from with that?
Well, does Q Card jump that well? He's got his own way of doing it, hasn't he? Mm-hmm. You know, if we're going to have this way of talking, he's a bit skew-iffed sometimes, isn't he?
Yeah.
He can be a little bit. I mean, if you're Thistlecrack's owners, could this have gone any better for you? 5 runners, 4 rivals. It's unbelievable, isn't it?
Yeah.
The key will be the first 3 or 4 fences. How hard are they going to go? Who's going to take them along?
Joss's Hill, presumably?
Joss's Hill, we imagine, probably will, but Silvianico as well, himself a dual winner.
Yeah.
This is Q Card's 5th run in the race as well. He's an 11-year-old. He's slightly older than you want, isn't it? So this is a complete head-scratcher. If we weren't, sort of spellbound about it so far, we are now.
And so which way do you see it going?
I'm a Thistlecrack fan all of a sudden. I just don't think it could have gone any better for him. On the figures, his peak RPR over hurdles, that was in the World Hurdle, was 178. Well, Q Card is a 180 chaser, we know that. So if he's going to go that extra 2 lengths over fences, I think he will. I just don't think it could have gone any better for him. And I think if they're lined up, one side each other, 3 out, there's only 1 winner, that will be Thistlecrack.
OK, so Paddy, you're a Q Card man. Dave, you're a Thistlecrack man. Rob, are you either or what's something else?
Well, listen, I think the betting suggests you have to be one or the other. Like Joss's Hill has been good this year, but he's trying 3 miles for the first time. Silvianaco looks to be on the downgrade, and then T for 2 was well beaten by Justice Hill on his most recent start. So you're talking experience and potential. We can't split them at 6-5 each of two. And I'm just sort of in the same corner as Patrick. You can't beat experience in a King George. I think there's a reason no novice has ever won it. Certainly not in a long time. And there is a little bit of doubt in my mind about Thistlecrack's jumping. They're probably not going to go fast enough to put it under proper scrutiny. But you can't beat experience. And Q Card showed the last day that he's certainly most of the horse that he was, if not all of it.
Who's the best jumper in the race then? I mean, that is a fascinating question, isn't it? Because Joss he's got his own way of doing things.
My God, he's got his own way. But he's been better this season, Joss.
He has been better. He beat Tifi2, obviously, in the Peterborough last time, who is himself a second-season novice, although he won what we know as the Feltham. That was his last win on this day last year. Silvianico, I think we have to say, is probably the best jumper in the race. Is that right?
Yeah, but he's probably getting slower and slower.
Well, that looks to be the case. But again, Nichols has got to be happy that there are only 5 runners for him, because there's a chance that he might just get his own way as well. And if he does get to boss it, we might just see a bit more from him, I think. I think you can slightly excuse that Betfair run. That just wasn't him, I don't think. But even that Valsalido run, he's going to need to step up on that. It's hard to see him winning, I think. But at 25-1, slightly overpriced, I think.
Rob, I believe you have a special offer for our lovely listeners.
Yeah, we've actually a few special on the King George, but the main one is you get, if you open an account, you get a free tenner on Thistlecrack at 8-1. If he wins, you get 80 quid worth of free bets. But I was just flittering around on the various prices, and we're 10-11 Colin Tizard to have the first and second. So you're getting the reverse forecast Q Card and Thistlecrack at 10-11. I thought it was a misprint or something like that, but the lads have told me,
they wouldn't do misprints at your place, would they?
Well, obviously not. They reckon they're going to hold on to it. We've betting on who'll go off favourite, but the 10-11, if it's up there later on tonight, that Colin Tizard has the first and second.
That's a dangly carrot, isn't it?
Wow, like it's
for
crazy.
For Rudolph, he likes carrots, doesn't he? Christmas hurdle. Paddy, you guys had Vroom Vroom Mag in the Christmas hurdle. She's not going?
No, Dad made the decision he's going to keep her at home, keep her in Leopardstown. The weather was very bad as well, so travelling wasn't going to be ideal. And he's probably going to keep her for Leopardstown.
Okay, and Paddy, just this is not meant to be a political interrogation, but if she's going to Leopardstown, what's the latest on Annie and Faheen?
Well, she has a few options in Leopardstown. She's in the 3-mile hurdle there as well. So we'll work them all. Probably work tomorrow and start next week, and Dad'll make a decision then. Okay,
and so in her absence, we've got Yanworth, who's Britain's leading hope of winning the champion hurdle, astonishingly, given he was being trained for the world hurdle until a few weeks ago. We've got My Tent or Yours, we've got the new one, Chittabello, and with the best one in the world, a horse that's got no chance in Grey Wolf River. Paddy, of those 4 main horses, are there any in there that you think could conceivably be a danger to WPM winning the champion hurdle in March? You don't think so, do you?
I think the new one is the one to beat in Kempton.
Yeah.
I'm yet to be convinced that Yanworth is a champion hurdle horse.
No.
He hasn't. I know the Neptune is usually actually the best trial race for champion hurdle. A lot of good horses, got Peddler's Cross, and a lot of good champion hurdle winners like Istaback won Neptune and come back, and he didn't get the best run in the Neptune last year, but his run in Ascot this year didn't look champion hurdle class to me. So to me, Yanworth has to come and prove he is a champion hurdle horse, whereas I think the new one is proven around Kempton, and he's the one to beat over Christmas.
Does the lack of British 2-mile hurdlers distress you, Paddy? Do you feel sorry for
us?
Up at
night, no.
No,
no, because you've got all the chasers, so you've got all the. It's usually you with the Gold Cup horses, so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's something for us to cling on to. Dave, Paddy was sweet on the new one for this race. I've got to say, I thought looking at the betting and the ratings. Actually, before we do that, Rob, how do you bet this race, Rob? Just before I ask Dave this question.
Yeah, obviously with no Vroom Vroom Mag, obviously it's tightened up a bit. 6-5 Yanworth, we're 2-1 the new one. My 10 to yours is 4, is 8-1 Chittabello, and then 1,000-1 about that No Hoper, as you said.
Okay, well, so you got the new one, a really good price relative to Yanworth, and yet certainly on BHA ratings, the new one is a £10 better horse still.
It's all about the tactics for this race as well, isn't it? He should get his own way up front again if they choose to do that.
Well, they will, won't they?
They've got to.
Nigel is very much gung-ho about going from the front.
And now that Vroom Vroom's not in the race, he figures that, well, he really ought to get it his own way. But what are they going to do with Yanworth? Are they going to want to press on a bit with him as well? Or will they sit on his sort of coattail? You have to imagine that's going to be the way. One of them will win it, I think. My tent, to my eyes, looks gone. I just thought that one. I know he probably hasn't had his ideal ground yet, but I can't see it. 4-1 looks skinny to me. Chittabello actually had him behind at Haydock when he won a fast of a race. Yanworth looks skinny at 6-5, but I'm sort of coming round to it again.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, I just am. I'm not too worried about it being too speedy for him. Forheen did it. If it's a test, why not make it a test? Will they go hammer and tongs? That will suit my tent, of course. The tactics are absolutely key. I can see Yanworth sitting quite well. I thought the form of that Coral Hurdle didn't look too bad, with Little Rockefeller chasing home, that imperious winner on Saturday. You know what I mean, Harry?
Yeah.
He's a really, really solid horse. And for a lot of that race, Yanworth looked like he would win quite well. While this is a bit of an afterthought, and maybe he will be caught between two stalls, I think Yanworth is probably the right favourite. However, I can see the new one sort of making also. It's a tricky race. But if I was pressed to go for one, I always go for the up-and-comer.
Dave, I respect my esteemed colleague's judgment, but it worries me, and would it worry you, that Barry Geraghty's first impression after the Ascot race, which is a 2-mile 3 race, was that this is not a 2-mile hurdle, this is a world hurdle horse?
They've obviously got to go down that route now, haven't they? And like you say, it's amazing, isn't it, that in the Antipose market, here's our big hope. He's not for everyone, Yanworth, because he got beaten at Cheltenham. Everyone sort of thought he was the great white hope there, and York Hill came and did him. But you should never sort of, taint a horse for that. He's unbeaten apart from that, isn't he? And I think his 2-mile form is very, very good, I think.
I do miss Rooster Booster. Rob, do you miss Rooster Booster?
Yeah, I miss Archibald as well, who was a 2-time winner of the race.
Yeah, but he was Irish. You've got loads of 2-mile hurdlers. We don't have them. That's why I particularly miss Rooster Booster.
On the ground, isn't it?
They're not running this year. That's the problem.
That's it.
It's been thin for a long time. Guys, have we got any views on the Courtauld Star Novices Chase while looking at Kempton? Anybody?
Well, we've betting on it. There was a few quid last night for Annabelle Fly when we saw Barry Geraghty jocked up, and it looks as though he's going to be favourite now. We're 5-2 about him. Our man Frank has put him up as his best bet of Christmas if anybody follows Frank. But I'd say he's going to probably get shorter. His run behind Coney Island in the Grade 1, the Drinmore, was good, and he was a good winner of a beginner's chase. And it's very rare for Tony to send over a horse like him so early in the season for a big prize for a Grade 1. So Annabelle Fly, I think, will take plenty of beating.
It's not a good race, is it? I mean,
no.
there's 10 runners, which is appealing for punters, but that's usually a much smaller field because there's a class act in it, or 1 or 2 class acts in it. Might Bite is not for me. I thought Frodon getting the weight at a concession if he stays. I think he probably would be my call. I can see Annabelle Fly. I'm not sure about the trip for him. Nothing screams a 3-mile to me. I do like him though.
Okay. And guys, any views on the Roland Merrick Black Lion heading the weights in that one?
Yes, I did have one in that. Let me make my way to it, Lee. You've is it 225 at the
150, I believe. Yeah, 150.
That is the thing about these decks at this stage, isn't it? I was up to Wincanton. I was talking to Rob a minute ago. Trying to look for every horse running on Boxing Day is a task in itself.
Just at Wincanton, Andrew Thornton has 7 rides. He could get to 1,000, which would be very unhelpful for those plotting the Racing Post that day.
Indeed, absolutely, because that is a massive achievement. Let's hope he does it. I thought that definitely Red might be the one in there, Lee. He wasn't going a yard on his latest run, and he's better than that.
Okay, and Rob, you guys betting on that yet?
Not yet, but on that note, all the racing on December 26th, it's 1:30 now. The lads have assured me every meeting, every race will be priced up about 5 o'clock today. So by the time the postcast comes out, punters can back whatever they want.
Well, that is fantastic news. God bless all who sail on the Paddy Power ship. And with that, a commercial break.
Get instant access to your winnings with Cashcard Plus, Paddy's brand new card, available to use at ATMs, online or in shops. T&Cs apply. 18 plus. Gambleaware.co.uk.
Listeners, welcome back to this festive Racing Post postcast with myself, Lee Motteser, Dave Orton, Rob Catterson and Paddy Mullins. Paddy, just going back to Christmas, which the sort of season we're in now, we're all enjoying, it's marvellous. I remember reading a Q&A you did in the Post a while ago where you spoke about how WPM is famous for his Sunday morning fry-ups, and he puts his pinny on, and that's right, isn't he? Does a big cook breakfast on a Sunday?
Oh yeah, every Sunday, yeah.
Now,
There's usually fire alarms going off and everything, yeah.
Good.
It does get done.
Does that mean that Willie is the man who ensures that in the Mullins family the bird is moist on Christmas Day?
Of course.
Really?
No one else allowed near it.
Really?
No one else allowed near it, yeah.
Would he be a turkey or a goose man?
Oh, turkey, very traditional. Very traditional.
And then he would be a good Christmas turkey cooker.
We're all still alive so far.
Good man, excellent news. Well, a little window into the Mullins family world there. Leopardstown, Paddy, you'll be there on St Stephen's Day, won't you, as you call it?
No, I'm not. It's probably the first time I'm going down to Limerick on Stephen's Day. We actually had no entry in the bumper in Leopardstown, which is a first.
I noticed that. That's unbelievable, isn't it?
You're off to Limerick.
Stephen's Day bumper, and the Mullins camp have not got one in it. It's not been the happiest hunting ground. It was last year, I think, wasn't it? But yeah.
Bacardi's won it last year.
That's right, Bacardi's, yeah. It was a drought, though, wasn't it, prior to that?
There was, yeah. It's the race to win. Everyone aims for it, you know.
Right, so what's that like then, going to Limerick on the big day?
Say again?
How do you feel like going to Limerick on the big day, Paddy?
Oh, great. Well, I don't mind. I think I ride a nice mare in the bumper, Miss Sapphire.
Okay.
There you go. Yeah, she's on race, isn't she? Yeah.
So I'm quite happy to go now.
You're a happy bunny. Good man.
Yeah.
Okay. But you've got Bapom, haven't you, in the race, Bapom?
Yes, Bapom in the juvenile hurdle. Ran a blind on his first run in Fairy House. He got the last wrong, but was probably getting the worst of the argument anyway.
Yeah.
But you'd like to think, with normal improvement, he should be able to reverse the form with Land of Hope and Glory. That's what we'd be hoping anyway.
Okay, Dave, do you agree?
He's actually £1 worse off at the weights. So it's a tricky one, isn't it? Because you figure in that he's obviously sort of got that improvement in him. He looked like a quick horse to me as well last time, Patrick. He really sort of sauntered through that. Was that a race where you wanted to be handy? I think Land of Hope and Glory, he's done well, hasn't he? That was the sort of, an acid test for him, and he came up good again. I could see him relishing the Cheltenham Hill as well. I think that JP's got a strong hand on it. If forced, and I'm a big fan of this sort of race with a Mullins horse, I think the top one might be the one,
okay.
Land of Hope and Glory.
Paddy, where would your horse stand among the stable's juveniles?
With juveniles now wouldn't be my first love or first interest.
I think I've heard you say that before, Patrick.
Yeah. He'd be at the very top of the tree. Yeah, he'd be right up the top. Yeah.
Right.
Okay. Rob, any views on that race?
Yeah, I'd agree with Patrick. Atop Bapom ran very well. His win in France came on much softer ground, so probably more rain the better for him. I'd expect him to reverse the form with Joseph's horse.
Okay. Paddy, if you're not a big fan of juvenile hurdlers, I bet you're a big fan of 2 mile novice chasers, aren't you?
Yeah, well, I mean, it was last year anyway.
Yeah, well, you're going to be again this year, aren't you? Because Min goes in the Racing Post Novice Chase, the Arkle Trial. Good contest, this, isn't it? Taking on an Identity Thief.
It's a cracking race. It's a proper test. Our fellow was very good in Navan. Jumped perfect. I mean, he's a tall, leggy horse. I don't know if you saw him in Cheltenham, but he's the sort of horse that should improve fences. And he wasn't far off the top as a novice hurdler. Although he obviously got a bit of room to improve to catch Altior, but Identity Thief is a high class horse, and he's probably has a little bit more experience. He's had an extra run under his belt, so he probably has the advantage on Stephen's Day. But it's going to be very, very interesting. We're very happy with our fella, and if the chasing has brought about improvement, it's going to be a cracking race.
And will you beat him?
It's not one I'd like to. I'd keep my 5 in my pocket, put it that way.
That's interesting, because the market suggests he's a warm order here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Identity Thief has proper open form, whereas we have novice form. So,
but
for me,
really strong novice form, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
It is. Yeah, it is. But we still, for me, we have to step up. We're the ones that have to beat Identity Thief, not the other way around.
From what we could see last time at Fairy House, Identity Thief was workmanlike-ish. I mean, he was a really hot favourite there, and he had to beat his stablemate at Ordinary World that day. And from what we could see coming out of it, is he going to want a little bit further as well of fences to absolutely peak? He's been to Leopardstown, of course, that Nichols Canyon Rumble in the jungle last year, and he won a maiden hurdle at this meeting 2 years back as well, whereas Min hasn't. He should sort of carry it okay. I presume he'll go from the front, Patrick, will he, Min?
He'd be good and handy, and Ruby will have to decide at the time. But I mean, he's
an extremely quick horse, isn't he?
He's very quick, and he has a very long stride, a high cruising speed, and his jumping was very slick and Navan. So
I was impressed with him.
Yeah.
And Rob, again, you've got a special offer for our listeners.
Yeah, again, similar enough. If you open an account and you have we'll give you a tenner on Min at 6-1. So again, if he wins, you'll get 60 quid worth of free bets. I'd be in the Min camp. He won that beginner's chase at Navan further than Duvan and Vautour did. It's always a good beginner's chase. The chances are we're 8-11. The chances are he'll be bigger because Identity Thief was obviously a better hurdler, but Ruby won't have much choice with this. That he'll bowl out in front, and I think Identity Thief will have to be pretty good to beat him.
Okay. And guys, anything else in Ireland on what day is going to be? Monday.
At Limerick, where Patrick, is heading, that Grade 2 novice chase is a fascinating little race. It's Bells Hill versus Haymount. I mean, there are other good horses in there. Nambor, who used to be with you, of course, and Attribution, who looked like he was an improver last time, and that Diamond King. But it should be between the pair of you at that Grade 2 at Limerick. It's always a decent race, and you've won it a couple of times. But Haymount, I thought he looked like a horse that was definitely going places.
Yeah, his beginner's chase form is a huge step up on his hurdle form.
Massive,
again, like Min, I was saying, he's got the physique to be a better chaser. His jumping was like liquid, and he probably got to run of the race out in front, Ruby dictating down the inside. But that beginner's chase has a lot of strength and depth, and obviously Coney Island came out and won the Grade 1 afterwards.
Yeah.
I would have a slight query about his effectiveness on heavy ground.
Okay.
He might be a horse that he's presenting, and might just be better on good ground, which, it was a very dry autumn there. And Limerick at Christmas always very, very heavy. So that'll be my query over him. But for me, whatever he does in the middle of winter, he'll be better come the spring.
We've got a plot here, haven't we? We have got a handicapped Cheltenham plot in the making here. Fantastic.
Paddy, do we have a handicapped Cheltenham plot in the making here?
Well, I was hoping he might be my 4-mile horse, but but I think Dad was thinking he might be more of a 2.5 miler, so we might have a Black Hercules sort of situation again. But we'll see how he gets on Stephen's Day. But like I said, I think whatever he does in the middle of winter, he'll be better come the spring.
Good man. That then is the end of part 2.
Get instant access to your winnings with Cashcard Plus, Paddy's brand new card, available to use at ATMs, online or in shops. T&Cs apply. 18 plus. Gambleware.co.uk.
Welcome back, festive listeners, as we look ahead to the Christmas racing period with myself, Lee Motteser, Dave Orton, Patrick Mullins and Rob Catterson of our sponsors, Paddy Power. The big race in Britain on Tuesday is the Coral Welsh National, in which Colin Tizard's third string Gold Cup horse at the moment, Native River, is due to carry top weight in that one, trying to follow up his Hennessy Gold Cup success. Dave Orton, I thought off at only a £4 higher mark, he's got a serious chance of doing it.
He's very well in, isn't he?
Yeah.
The handicapper would have a bit more, on his back. He ticks no boxes whatsoever. A penalised winner of the Hennessy coming here. When was the last Hennessy winner to even try? Never mind, actually win it. He's a 6-year-old. That's not very good for the race.
Yeah.
And the ground is the imponderable thing. They're going there because at the moment it says it's good to soft, but we've got a certain Hurricane Barbara, haven't we? Sort of moving its way in.
Well, if a hurricane's going to find any place over Christmas, it will generally find Chepstow.
It's got to be Chepstow, isn't it? It's usually run on a bog. It's got to be soft, surely, at least, I think. I was with him at the Hennessy. I think he's a lovely, lazy horse. We haven't got to the bottom of him yet. His jumping was much better in the Hennessy as well.
Yeah, it was good.
And of course, he's the horse to beat. And he sort of tears up stats. This horse. But I'd be against him.
Patrick, you against him?
It's going to be very difficult. It's a very big ask for a horse. It's something you kind of, it's like the stuff you read about horses doing back in the 80s and 70s, isn't it?
Yeah.
So I think fair play to the Tizards. It's great. They're very adventurous with their horses, and they're running so well. You couldn't say he definitely won't, but it's a big ask.
Oh dear, this is a bit negative. I was quite keen on Native River.
You're going to slam him, are you?
Well, I backed him in the Hennessy, and I just think off a £4 helmet, if he gets into a rhythm,
jump off, yeah.
Gets into a rhythm, which I think you can do at Chepstow.
You certainly can, and you want to be up there in this race, I think, as well.
Yeah.
It's usually a race that lends itself to those front runners.
And even with the weight, he's running off 159, isn't he? I mean,
He
if
is.
it's going to be a Gold Cup
He is.
horse, which he might well be. Rob, how do you guys see the Coral Welsh National?
Yeah, it looks certain he's going to go off favourite, presuming he runs. He's 6-1 favourite. We're 10-1 Carl's Destroyer, who followed at the moment in the Hennessy. One Night in Vienna's been well backed. He's 10s. It's 12s Warranter, 14s Racing Pulse, and 16s Bar.
Okay, Dave, if you don't like Native River, is there one that you do like?
Yeah, Rob mentioned One Night in Vienna. This is a proper national horse in the making. This, he's still just a 7-year-old. I thought he was good at Carlisle. They left him sort of undercooked for that. This has been the big plan. Hopefully he'll be up there. His jumping will stand the test, and I like him. I thought that if he gets in, then Warrentor is a definite player, but he's number 35 at the moment. That's a bit sort of hit and miss at the moment. And last year's runner-up, Firebird Flyer, he's got more weight on his back, but he has been targeted this for Team Evan Williams, and he'll go close, I think.
Okay, and before we go on to the good stuff at Leopardstown, any views on the two big races at Kempton, the Desert Orchid Chase and the Wayward Lad?
Looks like it's Altior's the Novice Chase, doesn't it?
Noel's been jocked up for him in that race, which suggests he might go for that one as opposed to the Desert Orchid, when Noel could ride Special Tiara.
That'll be money buying, I'd imagine, in that race.
Yeah. Okay, shall we go on to Leopardstown then? Fantastic car then again on Tuesday. Paddy, first of all, just in terms of likely running plans, are we expecting to see Duvan as opposed to Underso in the Paddy Powerback Grade 1?
I think that had said that was the plan. But again, we'll work them and see. But he's come out of Cork 100%. He looks $1 million. So that would look, it'd be a nice place to get some more experience into him now.
And again, if he runs there, it should be a walkover, should it really? The likely opposition is nowhere near Duvan class.
Yeah, that's what it looks like. Now, we ran under Sonat last year and he fell, so it's not always that simple. But, hopefully.
Good. So, guys, we wouldn't be taking on Duvan at all, would we? Just be watching and enjoying?
No, and I'm hoping that Underso doesn't either. You're surely going to keep him apart. Ryanair for Underso, Patrick, at this stage, are we thinking that might be his port of call?
It's definitely a possibility. I mean, he looked like on good ground he probably needs 2.5. So
he does. He needs it. He definitely needs it.
Yeah.
I've backed him for that, Patrick, as you could probably tell. So
well, realistically, Patrick, there'd be no way you'd let Underso take on Duvan in the Champion Chase, would there? So realistically, the only race for him would be the Ryanair, wouldn't it? That would make sense.
Yeah, that would make sense. I know there is options in France as well, but like you said, I mean, the Ryanair is on the radar, definitely.
Okay, and in the Future Champions Novice Hurdle, the Paddy Power Future Champions Novice Hurdle, what's the likely challenge in that one for you guys?
Oh, too early to say. We have 6 or 7 horses entered, and so I imagine 2 or 3 will run. I mean, last year there was Long Dog and Bacchus and Petit Mouchoir. We had a good few runners in last year, but it's just too soon to say right now, I'm afraid.
Okay, no worries. But you've also got the favourite in the Paddy Power Chase, the very valuable Paddy Power Chase, the Crafty Butcher. Well handicapped?
Yes, I think so. Unfortunately, he might be too well handicapped. He might not get into the race. We got him there. I think he was point-to-pointing in England last year. And
he was, yeah.
A friend of mine, Paul Byrne, pinpointed him and thought he was bought for this race because Ian Madigan and Dominic Ryan are 2 rugby players. This is their local track, and the idea was to come here, and his rating would have got him in the last 10 years, but the stats seem to have changed a bit, probably with Gordon and JP and Gigginstown running so many. It looks like he might not get in. He had a very good run in Navan in a handicap hurdle, and he looked at halfway like he was going to pull up. He was detached and last, and Ruby was squeezing away. And then once he's had the past few horses, he flew home, finished 3rd. Now my only worry is he's an older horse who's had a lot of racing, and I just wonder in a really competitive handicap chase, you know, whether after 4 or 5 fences he might say, this isn't for me.
Right.
That's the only concern. But I do think he's better than his racing, yeah.
Okay. Have you got any views on the race, Rob?
Yeah, pretty much what Patrick said. I think he's actually in a handicap hurdle the following day, which he's a better chance of getting in. But
he's in a pretempt qualifier.
Yeah, but he needs 9 obviously to come out to get in, and Willie's only got 3 ahead of him, so he'll need Lady Luck. We're 7-1 favourite about him. Noble Endeavour, who ran really well in the Troytown, is 10-1 with Uccello Conti and Oscar Knight. It's 12. Our best backed horses in the last day or two. David Jennings has tipped up Killer Miller. That's been well backed. And Otago Trail, who's due to carry top weight, has been well backed as well.
Dave?
Killer Miller, I can understand. He went really nicely for a long way. I thought that Bonnie Cater was overpriced around about sort of 20s, that 16 mark. Rogue Trader is another horse that I quite like for Tom Taff. He's a horse that probably wants this trip now. JP McManus horse. There's a big one in him anyway. It usually goes to a fancied horse these days, by the way, this race.
Okay. And Paddy, on the second day of Leopardstown, what's your bump amount?
2.5 mile bumper. We've 3 in it. We have Ballyward, Carter McKay, and Next Destination. Ballyward or Carter McKay are probably the 2 most likely, and one will run Tuesday, one will run Wednesday, and I like the 2 of them. Carter McKay is the one I probably looking forward to most.
Okay, good man. Okay, one more commercial break, and then we shall wrap up the rest of Christmas.
Get instant access to your winnings with Cashcard Plus, Paddy's brand new card, available to use at ATMs, online or in shops. T&Cs apply. 18 plus. Gambleaware.co.uk.
So, guys, the final day of Leopardstown we will cover in the next Racing Postcast. So we'll look at day 3 of the Christmas festival, and again, tricky because we're so far out here. But Paddy, we're expecting Jack Adam to run in the Lexus Chase. Is that still the plan?
Yeah, that'll be the plan. I mean, there's a lot of entries in it. It looks a lot of strength and depth. He was good on his comeback. You know, I think he probably ran below his rating, but the 2 other horses were fit and had a run. Probably 2.5 might just be on the short side for him. But, you know, to be honest, I think he'll take a lot of beating in the Lexus.
In terms of ability, obviously you know his big rival Valsalido very well. In terms of talent, is Jack Adam a better horse, do you think? Pure and simple.
I think so. Now, Valsalido is a better horse when he runs over 3 miles. You know, I think last year we wanted to go in the Gold Cup, and because Giggins found a few horses here and there, we had to run him in the Ryanair, and he was staying on. He stayed on to be second behind Bow Tour. And obviously he was going very easily when he unseated the last Hennessy for us last year. So he is a bit of an unknown He's a bit of an unknown, but I just think Jack Adam is probably a horse that doesn't maybe get the credit he deserves. I think he's a hugely talented horse. He didn't have an ideal preparation for the Gold Cup last year. After he had the stitches between his front legs when he got the fall in the Pillar Chase, or the Pepperite Chase, actually, sorry. And I think he's the one to beat in the Lexus.
Rob, would you be in agreement?
I'd agree with Patrick, yeah. I thought he battled well in the John Durkin. We're currently 15-8 Valsalido, 2-1 Jack Adam. It's 5s, bar. Funnily enough, we've only been laying one horse, and he's a horse a lot of people wouldn't fancy, Fine Rightly, who's still a 25-1 chance. I think there's been a lot of uncertainty about what might and might not run. Obviously, the likes of Outlander and 1 or 2 others were in the picture for the King George, but I'd be in the Jack Adam camp. Don Poli at 10-1. If he returned to his best, he'd be very big price as well.
Don Poli can't win it, can he? Dave?
Last year's winner. He made extremely hard work of it, didn't he?
Yeah.
This is my will not be beaten at the Christmas meeting.
Go on.
I'll just get in there first. From the day he won his maiden hurdle at Cork, I've been a huge Valsalido fan.
Right.
But I just can't have him beating a Jack Adam at all. I just don't think it will happen. I think that downroll form, he got a 171 sort of figure for that. That's his peak. But Silvianico Conti, we know, has not advertised that form since. He sort of had to win it. And, of course, if you go back to the Durkin last year, Jack Adam beat sort of Valsalido scentless. This is around about the 9-4 mark. The market has got this wrong, people out there. This is the banker of the Christmas period.
That's good to hear, isn't it, Paddy?
Yeah, I he can be my will not be beaten bet as well. I think I'll row in with you. 2
will not be beaten. My word, such confidence. Anything else at Leopardstown on the 20th? Actually, Paddy, while you're here, we won't have you the next postcast. On the 29th as well, those last 2 days of Leopardstown, what's the stable, aside from Jack Adam, particularly looking forward to?
Well, from a personal point of view, I think that Carter McKay, he's a Martleen point-to-point winner, and he's showing me all the right stuff here. He's the one I'm looking forward to most.
That's the Pearl Bloodstock one, isn't it? That's the Pearl Bloodstock owned.
Yes.
Interesting, isn't it?
So I think he loved the ground, and he's done everything right here. So he's the one I'm looking forward to over Christmas.
So winning for Sheikh Fahad over Christmas.
That's it.
Possibly. I haven't been told that he's going to ride him. I hope he doesn't ride him anyway.
I think you might hold on to that one. You won't be going to Limerick that day, will you?
I hope not.
No. And Dave, Rob, anything else over Leopardstown that we're looking forward to on that third day, the 28th?
Yeah, we've got that 3 mile hurdle, staying hurdle. The betting we've put in Vroom Vroom Magna was favoured, obviously, the fact that she doesn't go to Kempton, but it looks as though it's going to be a really good race. Jetski's due to return. We've got Shane's Hill, Snow Falcon, and we've got this new import of Nicky Henderson's, the mare Kotkakova. She's supposed to be the real deal, and I think Nicky's mentioned she might be coming over for that, so that could be the race of Leopardstown's Christmas meeting.
She skipped the long walk, didn't she?
Yeah.
I think for that.
Yeah.
So I'd agree with that. I'm fascinated if she turns up there. This is always a little bit underrated, I think, as a World Hurdle Trial. This race, it always throws up a decent one, and whatever wins it will be good. If Apple's Jade actually comes up, and see, is she still in that, or she's been? Yes, she's still in there.
They said she won't run.
Well, we've heard that before. But I mean, it looks like a really sort of deep race, and I'd like to see that French mare come out on top. I think.
Paddy, just on this subject, can I just gently and sweetly just put you on the spot for 1 second? And obviously, we won't hold you to your answer. But when we get to the third day of the festival, the Cheltenham Festival, which horse would you expect to be leading the Stables Challenge of that race? Bear in mind, Faheen heads the market for it. You've obviously got horses like Nichols Canyon, Shane's Hill, Vroom Vroom Mag. 2.5 months out, who do you think will be leading the Stables Challenge in that race?
For the Stayers Hurdle?
Yeah.
No idea, lads. Absolutely no idea.
Who would you like to be leading the Stables Challenge for the Stayers Hurdle?
It's got to be Faheen, surely, isn't it?
He's a champion hurdle winner as well.
Will he run against Daddy Power if they're both with that mare's allowance?
Look at what Colin's doing, Paddy. It's the way forward. Running against each other.
The Gigginstown way.
We'll see. Lads, I couldn't tell you.
You
Well
take
sidestepped.
diplomacy to new levels, sir. Most impressive. Okay, I think we're pretty much inside the final 100 yards of this one now. Rob, you guys have been very generous at Paddy Power in terms of charity bets. Just explain what you're offering us here today.
Yeah, we just thought, obviously, with Christmas and so much racing and coming up to Cheltenham, everybody seems to want to know everybody's charity bets. So we've put up £100 as a charity bet. You can split it up if you want, and all proceeds will go to the Freddie Tillicki Fund. Hopefully now we get a few quid, but the Freddie Tillicki Fund or whatever fund it's now called.
Okay, guys, so we've got charity bet, and also you can give a best bet as well if that's going to be shorter odds. Up to you. I'll get mine out of the way first because no one will be really interested in mine. My best bet would be the new one in the Christmas hurdle.
You were keen on that earlier.
I like
tell.
the new one, yeah.
But you shot me down a bit on that one.
No, I would never do that. You know, not a man of your great talent, sir. And in terms of charity bet, I'll go with Native River at a decent price.
Fair play.
Or a more decent price. Paddy, charity bet. What's going to go into the charity coffers?
I think Jackenham at 2-1 is a great price.
Oh, okay, good man. And Rob.
Right, well, the best bet of Christmas is in the bumper on the 26th at Leopardstown. Obviously, Willie doesn't have a runner, but Gordon Elliott has a horse called Midnight Escape. He really caught the eye in a maiden hurdle at Navan, and Gordon's got a habit of bringing horses back from hurdles to win a bumper. It's always a good bumper, but I think the fact he runs there, he was due to run in, or he was entered up and down Royal, which would have been a penalty kick, but the fact that they go to Leopardstown, I think they'll win that bumper with Midnight Escape. And there's a really good Hunter's Chase up north also on the 26th. Patrick, I'm sure, is familiar with the horse that I'm going to tip up, but Valmy Bay, he won his point-to-point in Kirkystown lately, and what he did to come from a distance behind to win was extraordinary, so he's the charity bet.
Excellent. And Dave, you've probably got something in the cellar at Market Raisin, have you?
Well, Jack, funnily enough, it is going towards Market
Is
Raisin.
it Lincolnshire National?
There you go. No, unfortunately not.
Okay.
It's in the Garth West Chase, which is a novice handicap. The 145 at Market Raisin, a horse called Vinnie Red. They've been waiting to get this one over fences. He'll win.
Excellent. Gentlemen, you have been marvellous. Paddy, Rob, Dave, thank you to all of you. Have a marvellous Christmas. I hope Santa brings you whatever you're hoping for. To our producer, Sam. Thank you to Sam. Thank you to all the listeners who've joined us in the build-up to Christmas. We're back on Wednesday, the 28th of December, looking at the remaining Christmas races. And in the meantime, may your Christmas day be extremely happy and enjoyable. Bye-bye.
The Racing Postcast in association with Paddy Power. They pay more extra places than any other bookie.